The monkey. Okay, first off, my tea. Or I spill it all over the place. Take the bag out. Alrighty. Okay. Where did we stop? I think the problem was when we split or parse with the delimiter, which is a new line, it was adding a space into the thing. So the idea now would be to actually just parse the lines, trim the white spaces from the left, if there is. Oh, the problem is the join, not the parsing, I think. And then instead of using only one text field, we will add a text field for each line. Oh boy. Okay, we have to clean up stuff and make this happen. So now this thing will not get created here, but we have to add some kind of canvas. Can add there. And then use some kind of offset to display these things in a clipping space, just the canvas itself. Man, today my neck is hurting so much. I don't know what happened. Before the stream it was fine, and then after my dinner it just hurt so much. Very strange. Anyway, let's begin. We have to begin somewhere. So what does this do? Takes the text, parses the new lines. Okay. If it's just a loop, or what? Why would I do that? It's the size. Okay. Also interesting. Multiply by 3. And then look. Okay, whatever. Should work. Local constructing. This doesn't work anymore. I guess the whole right side I can now ditch. Why did we have this 3-line cluster? Text, I guess. Okay, 3-line clusters is like we have 3 with 3 strings appended into a string, and they are like glued together by new lines, and then we just add it into this array to have these 3-line things. Question is, we don't have these clusters anymore. Guess I have to... Let's just ditch everything. Makes no sense anymore. This part makes sense. Because we want to go 1, 2, 3 and then next. And this one just gives us the things. Test stuff. So we actually would need an array of an array, so to speak, right? One of the better habits I started, I guess, just drinking tea while programming. Okay, do we have something here? Construction line we don't need anymore. What is this error hack? And it doesn't work. Okay, so could use this as a local. Don't have to send it all over. Current parsed lines. This 3-line cluster should be an array of a struct which has string arrays. Or, yeah, string arrays, because then it's flexible. What should we call it? Come on, man. Something like this. Be like this. Maybe. To make array, the front will not work. I need a local make array thing. Make array. And then we can just add things into this depending on if the conditions meet. Maybe I shouldn't have deleted everything, but have used the conditions. And max line count. Can I make this for everything? The last function only worked for 3 lines, even though I have it dynamic here. But this part didn't work. Yeah, I need something like this. So somehow I have the feeling that this cannot work out. Ah, no, never mind. So let's say this is 7, line count is 3. That would be a 2 point something. Ceiling would be 3, minus 1 would be 2. 0, 2. 0 multiplied by 3 is definitely smaller than length, which is 7. 1 multiplied by 3 is 3, 2 multiplied by 3 is 6, 3 multiplied by 3 is 9, which is then false, it goes out. What happens with that one line then? Because we are not doing anything with it then. Makes no sense. This makes no sense. Not anymore. Okay, with this loop, I go into a 3 stack, and this one iterates over these 3 stacks. And then we can just add them into this. Just need to be careful if the length of this is fitting still. Let's say we have only 7 elements. So in the 3rd loop, this would start with a 6. Just the first element here. Sixth we want. So if this is smaller than the length, we are good. And we just add it into this thing. And when this is completed, we do this. And then we make sure this array is 0 again every loop. I mean, but just clear. And now we should be able to have the lines in here. In units of 3. I should try this out and read. We're using it here. What is this called again? This looks correct. Text looks correct. So this is the way to go. Nice. Now we need to take these. I call this 3-line cluster, but we have it dynamic, so that naming doesn't make sense anymore. Let's rename this. Okay. Also try to clean up these things, but now that we have the lines, how do we use it? This function works. It is here just to test. Or is it? No, this is actually filling the thing. So this is needed here. Which means all the variables we have here are arrays that are not local. Should be cleared at the beginning, which is only this. Yeah. Let's get this into a form. I guess this doesn't need to break at all. We can just use a normal for loop here. Oh my god, for loop. There we go. There, let's go here. Okay. Old stuff. Okay, that's good enough for now. Whew. Okay. And here, add next character to the text. This is the animation. This tick thing. So now, should I make a new function that checks if a line is there, if not, create one? If there is a letter that goes in or not? Could I make another T? Let me get another one. I am back. Now the thing is, we will not do this anymore. Because now we are reading on this thing. And we have to create the text fields ourselves with a scrolling offset. Ooh, this is something. Not that simple. Let's see. Can I create a widget which is just a text? No. What's that called? This one. Okay. So I cannot bind this anymore. Can I? No, I can't because... we need to... do this. This is the 0 point. Position Y. Size. Now the thing is, should I make this scrollable? Oh man. So many questions. Be right back. Wait. This is missing. Be right back. All right. Now. Let's just construct it. We need to put it into this panel. How was that again? Hello, baby! Hello. How are you? How are the cookies? How do I... parent this? How do I put an element into something? I forgot. What do you mean, okay? Oh no. What went wrong? I'm good. A little headache, but... or more, my neck hurts. I'm not sure why, but I'm fine. It's in user interface. There's nothing we can do here. I need to do something else. What do you mean drink more? I already finished a cup of tea and I have another one in front of me. I don't think it's a migraine. I think I did something wrong, but I don't know. My guy, I'm sure I drink more than you. Yeah, me too. I know that feeling. Yeah, Unreal. How do I even search for this? Do I need to make slots as canvas? No, as text. Canvas. Does that even work? Viewport? How do I add this into this panel? I need to cast this into something, but this is already a text object. Child. Add child. That could maybe work. And then we could do this. Add child, clear. I guess that's the way then. We need to see. Next. That text. Let's write this for now. in this panel. I mean, I don't know how this will look like. But for now, I just need to know if this even works. I mean, the animate add thing here will not work, so let's do this for now. Still, and then we can do not this, but this. And what are you doing right now, baby? There it is. Has been added. So now I just need to put it into the right position, which is this part. That's You're preparing now already for graduation thing? Isn't that a little too early? But I guess while you're doing that thing, you can also do that thing. Yeah. Responsible, I guess. I see. First we need the anchor. Okay, that's not slots as canvas. Anchor set to make. So the minimums are 0, 1, and the rest is also 1. This. And next we need the offsets. Set offset, make 350 minus 232, 50 and 52. And the alignment is whatever, sized content. Okay, so this should now put this thing on top of whatever our normal text is. So if I get rid of this, we'll be able to see, we should see an there. There it is. Okay, so I can now create new lines. And I can put in the text that we have, I guess. That's something I need to implement now. But this is now the line. I'm not sure how to handle this now. Because it is created, but it is not saved anywhere. So I need some kind of container for it. Could it be an array or just a return? I could certainly just add it into an array on top. That would always have it in an order. Which would mean that I need to clear that array every time when we are in here, or at least delete them too. How can I do that? Ooh, dialog panel. I delete this, that's not good because this has also this in it. Oh man, okay, that's bad. I could do another panel. Could do another panel. Can I remove specific ones? And say remove item. and remove child add. So what is this? That doesn't work. Or this is just an array. Oh, there it is. Oh, this works. I just used the wrong thing. Okay, we can save these into an array and then remove them and clear it, I guess. And then the garbage collection should handle it. Not it. I guess we can just do something else. We can just go and promote this into a variable. And then just go and do this. Of course, this now also needs the offset where we will put it, but for now we'll just add it here, and then we can clear that thing from here. This needs to be removed. How to move childs for each. And then we can say clear. Put of that. Every time we do this, we also need to clear it beforehand. Like so. Okay. Oh, scene! Hello, hello, raiders! How are you guys? Hello! How was your stream? Sure is. Clothism? A clothes sim? Were you not fighting with that like last week too? My condolences. I instead are fighting with Unreal's unconventional letter handling. But I'm getting there. I found some workarounds, I guess. This thing needs to be rebuilt, but at least we can now create new lines. We add here. Of course, the offset is not correct. So at what point do we create it then? We need some kind of current line where we can add stuff in. Oi, oi, oi. This was only made for one text area, but now we will have text lines and we need to decide on what line we are. We need something in front of this to decide if we create a new line or use an existing one. And this thing also needs to... it should be maybe in front. Oh my god, this is getting complicated. And we need to use this thing. So this thing will go into our cluster. Just this thing. And we need a for each for this. Which means... Okay, I cannot do a for each since this needs to be time-based. Man. I need a current line. I already have a current line. Am I using this? Set at 0, set at 1 plus. This is not functional anymore. Okay, this is all a little dicey here. We need to go with the current line and say if this thing is not in the size of the current line, we need to create one. If length is okay, current line is 0, which means if 0, that's not good. If this thing this will get a 1. Zero is greater. No, 0 is smaller than 1. So this should work. If true, I don't care. If false, we go into create a new line. Create a new line. Creates always a new line, which is maybe not a good thing. We're working on the gradual text crawl. Well, not crawl, but character by character reveal. I already have the animation for character by character reveal. That's not the problem. It's the typewriter effect, I guess. But I have that. That's not the problem. The problem is I need to go into new lines. Like, how do I show this? Let me show you like this. Like we have text, a text box here. And this thing will write whatever. And then it needs to go here. I can do that on one text field. It works. The problem is Unreal doesn't handle new lines correctly. If I add a new line, it makes a space, and there's a space in here, and then there's a gap here. That's not good. So I need to create new text fields for every line to make this happen. And my end goal here is when we are in the end here, it stops, but if there is text left, this thing needs to scroll up and a new text needs to be written. Can you reserve that space? That's the thing. When you write it like a typewriter, the text box never knows where the line break is. So I will use manually spaced things. I'm not sure if I talked with you about this. I think you were giving me this idea that I will use a tool to have this for translators. So it will be manually. So I cannot reserve space. I can only wrap text and then it will just jump down at some point. So that's not good. But the biggest problem is that I need to stop at 3 lines and then scroll everything up and then write again. So my initial thing didn't work because of the line. Now we will do this new approach. That's what my second idea was. Just use a material to reveal, but the material does not know the spacing of letters. So no, sadly you can't. Or else you would need to make some very complicated math task for every letter, which is not viable. So instead I will just create one line text and then just move it around. Or you could also just use C++, I guess, and then your problems would vanish, but I'm not sure. The biggest problem is this part. See this? No, not this. I already deleted that part. I use a join string array thing. So we have the array and then we can join them. If we have like multiple lines, we can join them into one string, which means for every line I would also need to add a thing, which is this. If I add this, it just makes one space in front of the line. It's extremely stupid. It doesn't just make a line break, it also adds a space. It's very stupid. I don't know why it does that, but it does it, and I cannot trim it away. Very, very strange behavior of Unreal. I'm not sure. I didn't test that. It clearly does not understand \n. That one he doesn't get, but I don't know if HTML and stuff works. If this is on HTML, that would be also a little scary, because I don't know what people could break with it. I mean, normal users wouldn't be able to just write something in, but I don't know. I don't know what the exploits would be. Just a scary thought in my head. So we don't need the for each. Create, make some new line. This new line will then be in here, which we can get with current line by this. Not reference, please. Copy is enough for us. And then I can break. Or we could just split. Okay, current line cluster is not the current line. That's of course something to keep in mind. Which means 0, 1, 2 divided by 3 is 0 point something. So if I go here, divide this by 3, it will always truncate down. And we would have the correct index of the line cluster. Then I would need to think here, current line, and then how do we get this? Oh my god. Is there a manager class telling each one to reveal? No. It's not written. I have a text line and I just add the letters. Like, this is my old function for that. What I do is I go to animate dialog text, which starts a timer that has a time that loops, that always goes to this function until it's done. And this function just adds one letter to the string. And the string is getting displayed. So I just update the text visualization every tick. And this thing shows like in a certain time multiple letters. So you have this what is the word? Illusion of speed. I don't show only one letter, I show three at the same time. It feels better instead of making the rate lower. So yeah, this thing has like the tick rates I can just customize, but also the letter jump count. And this is the text itself. So in every text asset I can just tell it how fast it should animate it right here in the settings. So every text block could have its own speed then. Which, of course, for the scrolling does not happen, but then I could just create a new text field anyway. So how do I get the current line? Because this jumps back. I need a modulo, I guess. If I say 3, do I get 0, 1, 2 or 0, 1, 2, 3? Do I even get 0? What is modulo doing? I guess we can find out. In Unreal's modulo, you have to be careful if you go minus, because it wraps differently. They have a different definition of modulo. That's also why some rotations are very, very strange in Unreal. But I guess it doesn't matter. Let's find out. So okay, 3 is the correct thing I need. So I can just go to line count. Modulo just wraps the thing around, like it divides this thing by 3, and if it goes to the next number, it just starts with the first again. So with this, I can just tell that we are in the next line cluster, and then get the correct line from the line cluster instead. I can do that. So now we have to correct text. We just need to correct line object, which should be always the last one we added. Last index, get. And then we do this stuff with it. Just need to set text. And then with the current line that is getting constructed, I guess. Yeah, it's so stupid, right? It's so stupid. You do not expect it. When I go like 0 to to 360, and then I do like minus 180 into the variable, and I expect like minus 180. It just does it differently. It's very, very bad example of mine, but instead of going how to show it, like if we have like a value here and this is 0 and this is, I don't know, 360, no, 360, and this would be 720. So modulo would go 0, 180, and then 0 again, 180. But if you go minus, this is not 180 anymore. This is minus 180. It's very stupid. At this point, it just flips. And this is 0 and then minus 180. I guess you could go get away with absolute. The problem is here is 90, but here's minus 90, so it's all upside down. You cannot use it into the minus direction in the same way you use it in the positive. It's very, very strange. But it is one of the definitions of modulo. It's one of the two. And Unreal just decided to use that. Exactly. And I would expect, like logically, I would expect this to be 180. And when this is 270, I would expect 270 here and 90 here. As in, when I am in minus 0, I would expect here to be 395 and not 1. It's so stupid. Useless. Why would I even need that? It's like, why? I would just farm it if I needed that. Yes. That's a solution for that. Okay, so let's build this again with the new stuff. So this will come at the end because we will do this. Current string to display is not entirely correct anymore, but we can certainly use it still. We should use it actually. We just need to clear it as soon as we get to a new line. By the way, did you know that if you pull this and hold control, you just take this and with shift you get the setter, I think? Or what was it? Alt? Yes. You don't need to pull and then press, you can just hold control or alt and then it just does it. Yeah, I always forget to use it. Unreal has many convenience functionalities that I never use. But it's just because I don't know or I forget. The same thing with the zooming around, or like here if I want to fly. I didn't know that you can hold right mouse and then roll with your mouse wheel to make the scrolling faster or slower. Just didn't know. And I'm not sure who taught me, but someone in the chat told me to do it like that. what? An exec and then you press R. Ah, but I never use this. I never use this, it's not my style. I only use it if I make a manual loop and I need to go back, then I use that, but my lines never have like this. I always use variables. So I can read it very fast. On the other hand, if you see my code, you always know that I coded it because I never use those. Ah, that last part of my tea was very cold. Okay, so current letter index, and then we have the letter jump here. I guess we could use this for sure. Current context text length is not correct anymore. And we have to check multiple things actually. We would need to check this len, and if it exceeds, we need to get like +1, which means we also need, oh my god. Okay, no, we don't need to go over modulo because there is no over modulo, because we are not skipping. As in, we stop at 3 lines and then begin this again. And this 3 is wrong anyway. We need the maximum line count. Right here. Okay, then current letter index. That needs to be reset if we go local index to add from. What is this? Okay, this is not correct. Where are we setting this? Here's the setter, okay. Current letter in, okay. My god, my brain just flew somewhere else and I didn't think. Okay, this needs more logic. Way more logic than you're thinking. Maybe I should just make a custom one. So get line, maximum count, will get the correct thing. Current line it's at 0. Now we need to Current letter counts. Current letter index. Needs to be reset every time. Why do I need a local for that? Ah, because we are jumping around. Should I be perfect? Or is this jump not a little overkill? Because, like, I have certain letters to display per tick. Right now it's at 3. 1, 2, 3. And then it goes to the next 1, 2, 3. Every tick, it reveals 3 more. What if the line break is here and there's only 1 letter? Should the tick also do the next 2 here? Or should it just stop? I feel like this would be overkill to make it perfect. Like, who cares? It's gone in an instant anyway. I think I shouldn't care that much. Okay, current letter from add jump amount. Okay. We need to check this thing. And then we just break that. We can go here with this. Current line needs to be wherever it is. Doesn't make it here, it just does it next time. Okay. So if we also need to make current letter index. Okay, it doesn't matter because it's always getting overwritten by this index. Now this part does not matter anymore. We would instead need to know if this thing is smaller than the current letter. Letter index. This is scanning for the line break. If it is line break, then the current line is the next. If this thing is greater than the length, we get to the next line. Current current... No. This one. +1. Current line. Here we go. Could have copied it from there. Current line. This one stops the animation. The problem is now the current line could go past 3. I would need the modulo. Maximum count plus 1. Does that even work? This makes no sense. I lost my brain. Current letter index is already very dicey. It should be current line. If current line could be 4. We need to check it with this thing. Current line. Here we pass the line, and then we have to check. Wait, current letter index, why? Oh, it's at the false, never mind. Current letter index, why? What are we doing here? Here we're checking if we are at the new line. This contains the... We are already doing it here now. Not the current text. Oh, okay. This needs a different check. Oh my god. Need like the last index of this kind of thing. Where do we stop it? Okay, I see. So if we are if current line is greater or the same as length, no, -1 is let's say 7. Oh my god, I'm losing it again. I cannot concentrate. Seven current line. It's like void in my head. It's so annoying. Just want to think again. Come on. So line cluster length would be 7. And what did we want to do? We wanted to see if we are at the last line. If we are at the last line, we have to also check if we are at the last letter. That's the problem. Okay. If 7 and this is... So if this thing is greater or equal than the length. No, that's not correct. If +1 is greater or equal, then we would be at length, but normally you would say -1 instead of +1 there. That's the common way to do this. So this would say, hey, you are at the last index. Or even above, but that would be an error anyway. And the current letter index it was be just this, right? This and here. So if these are both true... Wait, this is... When is this true? If we are at the last line. This is true if we are not the last letter. So we should make this as if smaller. And then it should be an OR here. If one of these are true, makes no sense because this will be always... If you are at the last, but not in the last line, if you are in the last letter, but not the last line, we would be in true. Can we then go to the new line? I guess we have to handle that, which is probably here. Yes. This OR needed. The rest we will look into. But if both are false, you would need to stop the animation. Current line. But we also need to break when we are at the third line. How do we check this? We check it here. Okay, so this is the global one. This is the tree line. Hello, Boza. What sort of game I'm doing? I'm building a monster collecting RPG. But hello. Tell me about yourself. How did you find me? Are you also a developer? Let's see. This part doesn't fit. Current line. How would I check this? So this part is this right now. Current text, so we have to look for the letter index. This is wrong. It kinda is big. It is in 3D. Maybe I can show you. My dialogue system right now is broken since I'm working on it. But I guess I should be able to walk around. Alright, this is the start area where you can manage your stuff, like buy things, get quests, etc. And here is the throne room where you can talk with the main guy. You can teleport up into the sky, into these islands here, where you can find yourself on top of the clouds. Right now we are under the clouds still, but there are these little orpling swarms that fly around, and then you can fight them. And the idea is that you have a formation that you can add some orplings in, and depending on what element you trained them on and what element they are on themselves, they do certain attacks. Fire would be an offensive magic, for instance, but if I go to magenta, that would be a defense magic skill. So our little guy here can make a shield, so the other offensive orplings cannot go through there. But now I can switch to mine and don't get any damage, but I'm right now very overpowered, so those guys just die in one hit. And then of course, when you win you get some experience points, and then you can go down if you leveled a lot. You can give them new attacks and so on. And the idea is you just walk here, get stronger, collect stuff, go into these caves, try to find the key to the exit, which is like this flower where you can spend energy you gain from fights to get the key, and then you can go into this little flower here to get to the next island. And from here, like, you can already see there is also a bottom side where you can jump down and then explore there too. And then you can see, hey, we came from here and we were in this island before, and you can also look down or up at this point where you can see a sun that moves, gives you the time. And there's like this little port there where a ship arrives and so on, and there are many things here. I guess I'm far, but this is still like nothing. This will still take a lot of time to finish. This is just a framework of the game I'm doing. We are crawling every day into the goal, but we'll see how that ends. And right now I'm working on this part, which probably will not work anymore, but I have a dialogue thing where there is the character that's talking and then there's text appearing, and I'm implementing that thing. Because last thing we did was the interior parts of the little buildings, and all of this is like just dummy. They will be removed and replaced by better assets. But like the shop, there should be a shopkeeper here you can talk to. And yeah, my dialogue system doesn't work anymore. So we are building it again with typewriter effects. And right now I need to think about the logic of how far is the text. The text should stop at 3 lines, and then if I press OK, that it scrolls down, and so on and so on. So here we need to check if we are at the end of the current line. The current line, this is not the way we should handle it. Current letter index. So we are saving it in the local, that's fine, so we can get the current index with the current line. So if the current letter index wait. Current line, that doesn't work here. We need this instead. The current line, maximum thingy. And then, okay, wait. We actually need this. If this maximum count, where's my letter? Here. So if we are greater, we should go here and add a new line and start from the beginning. So the current letter should be 0 now. But the problem is the adding part, because if we start by 0 we are losing it. Ugh. It sure is. Especially when Unreal decides that if you want to add a string, like here, how do I say, append, if you want to add a new line, Unreal decides that it has to add a space too, and you cannot get rid of this. It's so stupid. Man, I cannot concentrate. current index. Here it worked, because we are just going there and the current index does not need to be reset. So maybe we have to add it to the construction thing beforehand. I'm not even resetting that. Oh, I am resetting it here. Okay, but we need it still here. And we need to append this to display with the new text. That's not true. We don't need to append. Or do we? Ah, okay. Here we go. Oh, okay. Now I understand how I did it. This goes letter by letter. And stops by 3 letters. So this is actually looking at the next one that we need to add. How am I adding the current one then? Current local, it starts with 0. Current letter index is 0. And then this is false, it's just added. Current line. Interesting. Yeah, that logic doesn't work anymore. That logic doesn't work here anymore. So here I'm looking at if we are at the end of the whole text. If we are at the last letter of the line and if we are in the last line itself. If we are not, we go and set the current letter index from this for loop. And then I would need to check if that one is still in that line. Which means we also need to create... Ah, okay, we need to abort. If we are here, we need to abort. Why am I stopping here? Because I'm checking if I'm at the 3rd line. That could be... Okay, this works. So we can just add the letter to display. And then we would need to update the text with this. Okay, so this works. Current letter index is 0, that's fine. Current string to display. Okay. I just need to find out if we are at the last. And then with the break and completion, I need to do that, but here and these two need to go here. What do we do here with false? Ah, okay, of course. But it is the new line still. I guess this should go to nothing. But I am missing a letter then, I think. I feel like. Or are we? Oh my god, we need to test. My brain doesn't work here. But I'm just a monkey. Bring to display. Current context. No. Append. That letter from the index, but this is not correct. We need whatever is here. Add character array from string. Yes, it's Mickey. It has been a while, baby. I'm sure this will have some bugs in it, a lot of them, and I need to see them to fix them. Anyway, this goes to nothing. Here we need to actually understand that we are at the end of the line. If current line, we need to check this. Current line is smaller than whatever, so in true, damn it! Not correct, no. We need to see if this is inside of one of the clusters. Maybe I went too complicated on this. Because now I would also need to know in what cluster we are. I'm not checking the cluster. So it doesn't work anymore. How do I know that my next line is going above the skip? I would need to look if current line plus 1 is 0. Modulo with the max count. If plus makes this a 0. So this. If true, we stop. If false, we do add current line. Else we do it also Oh, my lights fluctuated. I am scared. Let's save everything. So this needs to happen here too. If this smaller is not true, but it will be equal to 0. If true, then we have to stop. If this, we have to go here. No, this will stop it. This will full stop it. This just stops the and goes to okay. We are still cooking here. This needs to go in here. This needs to go in here. This needs to go on into break. Okay, and this thing, current letter index, I guess. Although current letter index is 0 here. So we have a one-off error now. We could say -1. Here too, -1. And then do this. Okay, I think roughly this is what it should do, but it will firstly not work because the new lines will be on top of each other. Secondly, I'm sure there's some other bug in here. But let's see what the code does. Please don't crash on me. Let's see what it does. I'm sure it just does nothing or something. Yeah. But this doesn't work because Because what? Why does this not work right now at all? Create new text line? I mean, that makes no sense. Okay, let's see what's going on here. Can I even check? We'll make it... this will not go into break, will it? Ah, it did. Okay, so we are here. Line is length, current is 0. It should go down here. Current string to display is nothing, then we create the new line. Okay. Going great. Now that was strange. This I did not expect. It should be false. Why? 6? So we are getting the line cluster, and from here the string itself is getting checked, and that's a 6? How is that a 6? Oh my god, this is so stupid. Can we stop, please? Thanks. Wait, we need this one. Because hello. It even gets the line break as a symbol. Again. Okay, anyway. What was this for again? It's the same as this, right? if you are at the end of the line, we are checking from letter index. So it should be the other way around probably. If this one is greater, if true, then this. If not, yes. So it should be like this instead. Okay, let's see. Now we can remove this for now and then see if anything happens. Oh boy. No, that's not good. Creating new line after new line in every step right now. So just it thinks it needs to go here every single time. Let's see what's going on. New line, yes. That's one. One letter. Two. And this is the third one. And where do we end up then? This should now go back here. Yes, and then it should not go here. Current line is 0. Why? Why is that 0? No, it's correct. Current line is... Oh, this is the problem. Why am I doing the same error everywhere? My brain is just not braining when it comes to less or greater logic. So stupid. Anyway, now it should do it. That part at least. Okay, let's remove these. Okay, there's... That hello, of course, just goes on top. But I was thinking it should have 3 lines. Why do we only see 2 lines? And then it just stopped. That's not correct. Let's see again. Not reference. Breakpoint. So, boop boop boop. Tick. So why do we go into this thing? So now we stopped here because either we stopped here. This is false. We never entered this part probably. Why did this become false? False, false. Both of them are false because 46. No data. I hate it that we cannot read the current one. Excuse me? Why is this 46? Are we getting the wrong... Oh, here, 46. We should add... Aren't we adding the current one? Well, that's of course wrong then. We need to add the other lines because we are going for that. So this last index thing Just makes no sense. Local index, current letter index, and we are going to 0 with the current letter index, which means this part is wrong. Or is it? Index to add, and then what do we do? Letters amount to jump. Okay, why is this false? Cannot be false, can it? 46 minus 1? Oh. Oh god. I'm losing it. Okay, how's the 75 and this is minus 1? Can someone explain? Okay. Maybe it just doesn't stop there. Maybe it's not coming from here. It is coming from there. So how is that even possible? Are we setting this thing somewhere else too? References. We have one setter here and another setter here we don't use. So how is this minus 1? Ah, because we are still in here. This needs to break it too. This little guy needs to break it too, I assume. Break. Does not go into the stop loop. Okay. Oh, there we go. Now it worked. But we do have some access errors. Attempt access index 6 from array. Add next character to text. If we have some one-off errors. Is it at every line break or is it just at one line? 1, 2. Okay, it's in every line break we have this error right now. I assume would be coming from this part every time when this part happens. Let's put that hello there. Did this before it? Not this part. Wait, or maybe it is. We have one here and one here. The top part we can now delete. It is this one that's the problem. So every time we do the last index, which means this part is wrong. Current letter index could be like, I don't know, 9. If greater than... So this goes to false. Current in... Okay, let's say we have a text of 4. So the last index would be 3. This goes from 0 is false, goes down. 2, 1, 2 goes down. Length is 4. Index is 3. 3 is greater than 4. This is always wrong, of course. It should be like this instead. I assume this would make it correct. Because my brain is not braining right now, I'm just jumping some hoops. But we have still the problem. Get character array from string of 6 in, and with what index do we go in? Attempt to access 6, which cannot be. This cannot go into the one off. So why do we still do this? The length is 6. If this is 6, okay, 6 is smaller than 6 should be false. Okay, Okay, let's switch up this logic here. If we are smaller than this, then it's true and we go to the bottom part. And now we don't have the off error anymore. Okay, so the code here seems to work for the first cluster. Now let's clean it up a little bit to make it a little bit more structured. Let's see, how can I make this a little bit more readable? I always write this wrong. Get line length of current line or something. Turn len. And we make this into pure. Now I can just use this instead. Maybe get current. Get line length, no. Get current line string. A better idea, probably. String. String. Oop. And this should have given us some errors, but it didn't. Why? Ah, okay, that's very strange. Why able to do that? Anyway, here. This should still work now. See if it works. Okay, good. Now we can get rid of this. Now at this point here, I will now actually use a redirector. Or are they called redirectories? Reroute. Because this part is a little confusing. I mean, my whole code is rather confusing, but no, that didn't work. How was it again? I hold R and click on it. Or I need to probably pull from here. There we go. Hello? Okay. Two. Yeah, that doesn't work. But why would you even hold R? You can just double click here, right? I guess the thing is, if you didn't connect it before, then you want a redirector at someone, but that's not the way I work. I rather double click here and then just do this. Dean, are you here? Did you know that one? Not sure. Are you here? Nah, you're gone. Maybe next time I can show you that. Maybe you don't know this one. Because if you use R, why would you not use double click instead? Anyway, there we go. Still confusing. Put this a little more down so we can see that the top is there. this should do it. Now, we could continue, but I am already at 2.5 hours and we do want to continue on the avatar too. So I might stop here, make a little break, and then continue with the VR chat avatar. But let's see what we want to do actually. Maybe I will continue. Because now we have this. We do the new lines, but this new line thing needs to keep track of the offset and add it to this thing. Current line, where do we keep track of this? Where do we set this? Member set. So we have 0. So if you create, then it should be at 0. Here we do add 1 and break, which means it goes back from here. Same with this thing. Breaks and then just does that. So we can use the current line wait, this one. So this is the size, this is the offset. I need some kind of literal. That one, and then we need to go minus the size of the offset. So this plus this multiplied by some size. That should be 52 plus the line gap. Let's say 50 is the gap. That goes in here. Let's turn this into a float. And this goes into this. So I would now assume that the new lines are created at the correct position. But no. They're actually not getting created at the correct position, but why? Current line not. Okay, let's see what happens. That's fine. Next one. Current line is 1. So this 120 plus whatever. 150. 152. So if I go here and say 152. Oh. Okay, never mind, that was the wrong one. We need this one. Oops. It's actually this. And then we need to go plus. plus we already have. So this is the offset. Plus this size. Now it should do it, right? Let's see. I don't care about that right now. No. Again, still wrong. Oh, okay. 30 minus 130. Why do you set it there then? Wait. Put it in the wrong again. Needs to be here. This is 50, please. My god. Now it works. Ooh, that's a big gap. The number is a little too much. 25 maybe. I mean, kinda works now. Double click is unreliable. Sometimes it ends up slightly off. Yes, but pulling the line is also very unreliable if you ask me. Okay, here it is. Now what we should do is get the input from the user, which is here. Wait. Dialog input press. This is a different one. Didn't I have? Or is it the state machine that has it? Wait, dialog input listener. Ah, okay, this needs to go into the UI. So from the state machine we will get the input. We also need to set this into the correct mode depending on where we are. So there's a lot of logic to still make. And then this either continues or skips forward. Developing that fast? You mean me? I don't develop fast. I must be misunderstanding you here. Should I remove this? This is like delete me after finished. Because this is now not needed anymore. I hate that when you, at some points, like Unreal used to make things user-friendly, blah blah blah, and everything is in that context, which has some very, 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 very strange decisions from their side, that everything which is case sensitive is handled very, very strangely. Now I wrote something in a wrong casing, this E. I cannot just remove it. I cannot just make a letter smaller and then enter. No, it just makes it the same thing. I need to remove it completely, go and edit again, and then edit. It's so stupid. Why is Unreal like this? If you use Q while selecting two nodes, including rerouting ones, it straightens the cable. Ah. Let me see. So like this and then Q. Ah, okay. I guess the last one you select is the anchor point. Thank you. I didn't know that. Does it work with these two? It should be like this. Huh. Is there also one for horizontal? That would be nice. Alt, Shift, and S. Let's see. Alt, Shift, and S. Oh, it takes the medium, median, or what's the word? Whatever, the middle point of it. I rather move one in the same thing. Maybe it's Alt S, Shift S. Why do we have Shift S with the same thing here? Why can't I use Q in this one? Because they are not connected. If they are not connected, you cannot use Q, but you can use Shift S. You can also use Shift S with this one, but that doesn't align it to the thing. Very strange. Oh well. Let's see. Ah, there they are. Align right. That's what I always need. Shift D. Interesting, thank you. I always did it manually. I think this will speed up a lot of things. Well, this can of course not work out. That's still manual work. But we can do this. What happens if we like this? Oh. Alright, so next time what we have to do is, let's think, what do I have to do? We need to get the logic in to get to the next text, because this is not only 3 lines, this is 7 lines. So we need a user input like space or whatever. Depending on our input router, I will have different keys to be able to do the same action. We need to scroll everything up, or 1 line or whatever, depending on what we decide to. but it needs to continue writing the text in some way. So instead of just being 3 lines here, this text needs to go up, disappear even in the clipping plane, and then the next line needs to write, and then it needs to scroll, or all 3 go up and then more text comes in. But this thing needs to animate up. That is also some kind of function I need to write, right? This should not disappear in an instant, maybe. Maybe animating it upwards could look better. Which means we also need to know the offset of how much it needs to go up. But we already know because we already have the line count and the offset gap that we need to make into a variable. And when we have everything, we also need to find a way to display function buttons by also moving the lines up when they are conflicting. I did think about it, but I think I don't want to be able to scroll up. It makes many things more complicated, and I rather have a history in the menu instead of being able to scroll around in a text. I feel like if I want to scroll, I press the OK button or whatever, and then it goes down. The user actually has read everything. Of course, accidents can happen, but that's where the history comes in, where you can read all the text that had appeared already, I guess. Which means I would need to keep some kind of log of the text that has been written. It shouldn't be that hard to make. Just the displaying that could be an adventure, because I don't know what kind of format that should be. Yeah, my idea right now would be to have some kind of another button here in this menu, history or chat log or whatever. You press on it and then the text is displayed, but that's just a feature to think about at some point, because I don't know how to display it. I cannot just use the dialogue 3 line, because sometimes it is also 7 lines, whatever. It's something to concept, but the idea will eliminate that scrolling issue. Anyway, that's it for today. I'll take a little break and then I will stream on the VR chat avatar we began yesterday. So, I'm not sure who is still here, but I can't even read your name. Amoe Bozoa, I guess. But thanks for the follow. But thanks for tuning in. Is Bevy still here? Bevy is still here. Thanks for tuning in, Bevy. Always a pleasure to have you here. Sadly, Scene is not here, but he's always helping me out. But yeah, so I'll take a short break, like 15 minutes or something, and then I will continue on our avatar. everyone. Thanks for watching. Thanks for the support. And I will see you guys next time. Bye bye, monkey. Hey, Gargon. Anyway, bye bye.